the name Aragon has popped up a few times in the chat. So by the way, people keep the questions coming. It's fantastic to see all this interaction. And so one of the questions about Aragon is so what Aragon is doing with Aragon Fundraising. I guess that's mostly what the question was about. Like, can you like say something about like a potential interaction with what they are doing and what the differences are?
Yeah, Aragon Fundraising. Okay, so first off, let me just say that the Common Stack actually started as an Aragon dev team. We were the Aragon DAC. We didn't end up going through the whole flock process, but we did. That was our original plan, was to basically push all of this on Aragon. That was before we really got in touch with Zargum, though. And Zargum blew our minds with CAD and how important the designs are, especially for token bonding curves. One of the things that we really want to focus on is being like blockchain agnostic and really implementation agnostic. Aragon is killing it. I mean, they already have the bonding curves on their platform live on mainnet, and they already have conviction voting on kind of a local net that's in process. And so like that community has really been diving into the Common Stack more than any others. But their implementation of the bonding curve, and so they have a huge leg up on potentially being our reference implementations. However, we want to make sure that we are totally implementation agnostic. We're going to have, when we actually do build the augmented bonding curve, we're going to put it out there for for anyone in the ecosystem to bid on taking that job. So it might be done on DAO Stack. It might be done using Colony. Who knows? Maybe it's just a roll your own and it's attached to a Moloch DAO. We'll see. But the main differences between what Aragon does with fundraising and what we do is that they have a tap. So the tap is how they move money from the collateral pool to the funding pool, what we would call the funding pool. In their case, it just goes to an address, and that address could be a funding pool, it could be a DAO. And there's just a constant stream from the collateral pool to the funding pool. And what this does is it actually is continuously lowering the price of the token. If nothing else changes, there is a constant draining of the collateral pool. We don't really like that method, and Z, you could maybe correct me if I'm wrong, because it doesn't perfectly align the incentives between all actors in the system. And we find that the implementing what we call an exit tribute and a hatch tribute to raise funds for the funding pool gives you a better way to bootstrap the system, so you can get a decent amount of capital up front by bulk, instead of having one person buy a token at a time, kind of doing a big bulk buy at the beginning and giving everyone the average price of that token, but then having the hatch tribute, which will take a percentage of the money raised at the beginning and throw it in the funding pool so you can get started right away and actually start making an impact. And then having a continuous stream of funding from when people burn their token by sending it to the bonding curve. So people will sell their token effectively, but only get, let's say, 90% of the funds generated from the bonding curve, and 10% would go then to support the public good. And of course, people left would then get to decide how to spend that money that's going into the funding pool. The person who burns the money, they don't have a say because they're leaving the ecosystem. The goal is to align incentives so that when people exit, and they're effectively hurting the system because everyone else's tokens lose value. So all the participants are lose when someone leaves. But then all the participants also win because they get to spend the money that's generated when the person leaves.
And I just wanted to say one more thing, that there may be some differences between Aragon Fundraising and the augmented bonding curve in terms of specific mechanisms. But we definitely see the Common Stack library, we want it to be functional for every use case. So we would love to see the tap mechanism as a different funding mechanism in the Common Stack library at some point in the future, because you could probably compose of course, with the right system modeling with CAD, an exit tribute and the tap mechanism in the same bonding curve if that suited your use case. So it really comes down to the system design and modeling and holistically simulating in CAD to make sure that it suits your system specification.
Mm-hmm.